Hello and welcome back. Let's see who's here. We've got one viewer. Colton is making himself a cup of coffee, which I also ran and did, but I did very quickly. So I got some coffee, and we are going to go into exercise 25 of Weingreen. Who all is out there in our fun land? I'm going to bring Colton up on stage because he's here. Howdy.
Yeah. Can I ask you two questions real quick?
Sure.
So when Americans go to Israel and they tour the Galilee and stuff, you know, they usually have a tour guide with them talking about like archaeology and stuff.
Yes, he did that.
Okay, I was going to ask, what do they talk about for Israelis? Is it the same kind of
Well,
thing?
be aware that most Israelis, like most Jews, are really, really unfamiliar with the stories of the New Testament. Hi, Maria. And so, for many of the people who went today, we were 8 people, 8, 10, 10 people, and for several of them, I'm sure it's the first time that they've ever heard these stories. So we talked about the Beatitudes and the multiplication of bread and fish and all kinds of things. And probably stories they've never heard before. So yeah, and I translated the Latin on the church facade for them and all of that.
Fun. Second question, maybe it's more of a statement. So in that book I was reading, and he points out, and we talked about this sort of, about how it's a lot easier in modern Hebrew, instead of like adding these endings on and changing the accenting of the word and everything. It's a lot easier just to add the independent accusative pronoun, Tom, and do that. And
Yeah.
one of the things I hadn't considered was that's why it originated in the first place. And in the book, Beckins, I'm assuming that's how you say his name, he points out that that's why it was, at least he suggests that is why it was, is that the suffix endings or the suffix pronouns were original, and that's why the et form formed to begin with, and then just as time went on.
I think you can see that really well in Aramaic, because in the biblical Aramaic you don't really have the particle yat or like et, but in Targumic, in the Aramaic of the Targums, yat is used all over the place.
Yeah,
and so I think you see yat like 3 or 4 times in biblical text, if I'm not mistaken, and because it used attached suffixes all the time. And so you can see the development that later on they wanted to use yat so they could separate them out. And I think that probably Hebrew developed the same way.
Yeah, like I said, he suggests that that's the case. It's just one of those things, like with the biblical text, like I don't see really any like discrepancy in how they're used between each, like, you just have one in one verse and the next verse it's a different one. It's just and it's just one, and it might be that that's when that change was occurring, and so it's obviously not going to happen at one time. And then like I've not read enough outside of the biblical text to know any better.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, the rabbinic Hebrew does use it a lot.
Yeah.
But as you get later and later in Hebrew, it uses it less and less. But standard Arabic today, spoken Arabic, uses them throughout. So, like the suffixes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into it,
like
because we've got limited time.
Yeah, just something I hadn't considered before in Hebrew. And I was like, well, Jason and I did just talk about that. I guess that makes sense.
It really does. So today we have Hebrew to English 16, and numbers 10 and 1 are rather long. So Let's hope that Jonathan jumps in here at some time. Muriel, is there any chance you want to join us? You have the link on Patreon if you should like to join.
I will be
You want to
happy.
start?
Galen back. Yeah, be happy to have Galen back with us next week.
Yeah.
Okay. ויאמר ויאמר משה אל יהושע כי ישו בני ישראל בארץ אשר הם הבאים שמה וראו את הערים הגדולות והחזקות, there we go.
It's a quote.
Zokot. There we go, sorry. בראשי ההרים ויראו מפני יושביהן.
It looks like that's a mistake. Viyaru. It should be. No, it is. That's correct. Viyaru. Okay.
ודברת עליהם לאמור, בטחו באדוני אלוהיכם, כי מלאכו יילחם לנו.
Yeah, so the Viyaru looks like a mistake. It looks like it should be above consecutive, but actually it's the future, right? Because we're talking in the future. Yihiyu and Vidibarta. All of this is in the future. Yilachem.
Yeah, Vidibarta, not the Bart. Dibarta. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, well, I just tried to click on the video to type in it. Oopsie. Instead of the... and
I do that all the time, by the way, because I've got two screens going, and I
me too. And Moses
click on the wrong one.
To Joshua.
It's relevant because we're talking about Joshua in the other session. Right. But Moses is dead to us.
Yeah.
Moses is dead to us.
If the children of Israel... Okay, come on. Sorry. If the children...
Or it could be when the children of Israel enter.
I haven't read. Oh, yeah. When they are... Yeah.
You said your teacher got onto you for not using quotation marks.
Because I forgot them. Because I forget them pretty frequently. Okay, when the children of Israel... Okay, sorry.
When the children of Israel Yiyu ba'aretz asher hem habayim shama
are coming into the land.
So when they shall be in the land in which they're entering, into which they are entering, or where they are going, where they are coming. It's hard to do the ba'im shama, asher ba'im shama. The shama is hard because
they are.
It's not stationary, right? It's movement. Shama is to there. So maybe
it's so weird.
They shall be in the land into which they are entering, or where they are entering.
In land to which they are entering.
And then the there is repetitive because it's resumptive, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy to translate, but it is how Hebrew expresses it. Yes.
Yeah, and
את הערים הגדולות והחזקות בראשי הערים.
They will see the cities and the.
I would take this as still part of the protasis. This is still part of the if/when statement.
Okay.
When they shall be in the land and see.
See the great cities. And sorry, give me just a second. Let me zoom this in so I can actually see what the heck I'm reading. And the
הערים הגדולות והחזקות.
oh,
The large
great.
and strong or powerful cities.
Sure, yeah. Large and strong cities.
Right? Now we don't have and because we're
Yep.
here.
In there,
בראשי ההרים.
in the tops of the mountains.
Yes, that's where the cities are. The cities sit on the mountain, right?
In the
Generally.
tops of the
They either
mountains.
sit in valleys or on mountains.
And they see the
No, this isn't. This
they
isn't
fear.
year. Yeah,
Oh. Oh, okay. I see where we're okay. They will fear. Sorry.
but still, we want to keep this as part of the protasis
Is it
because
still? Okay.
the apodosis starts with v'dibarta. Ah, Adele, I see you sitting there. Hello, welcome.
Why?
Yeah, how long have you been sitting there? I didn't see you.
A while, but that's okay. No problem. I'm not complaining.
Oh, see.
You haven't missed anything yet.
I'm glad I didn't get that one to translate.
And they will see from before their inhabitants.
Yeah, so there are three parts of the protasis here. When they shall be in the land that they're entering, and when they see the big, strong cities at the tops of the mountains, and they will fear them, they'll be afraid of them, then you shall say to them, you shall speak to them, saying. Like it's setting up the situation in which the people see these big, powerful cities and they're scared.
Yeah.
And then it's telling him what he should do about it once that situation has occurred.
And you'll say to them.
You will speak to them, saying.
Saying, yeah, I got you.
לדבר, speak, אני מדבר עברית, מדבר אנגלית, מדבר כנענית, Canaanite language, שפת כנען.
Yeah, you'll say to them, speak to them saying.
You'll speak to them saying, and then you need another quotation mark, single, right?
Trust ye in Lord and
and the Lord is, yes, it's a personal name.
Your God. For his messenger
or his angel, the angel of the Lord,
will fight for us. I expected that to be you because he's still talking to them, but whatever.
Yes. All right. Trust in the Lord. Trust in Yudhevape, your God, for his something will fight for us. His malach will fight for us. Whatever malach means.
Yeah, leave it in translation.
Probably refers to the chief host of his host, because remember that God is called Adonai Tzvaot.
Yeah.
Adonai Tzvaot, and the Tzvaot means armies. Because it's seen that God has armies that fight and do his will, and those armies are angelic beings or spiritual beings.
Yeah, that's a lot to hold in your head. You know, I've been trying to work on like holding the whole thought in my head while reading, and obviously that number one's long. It's hard to do that.
It's a really long conditional. It really is.
And so,
Adele, do you want to read number 2 for us?
Sure. Atahu Elohi Tzedeki Tzedki Hashmia El Tifalti Bikar I Elecha. So
Bekor I
Elecha. I think you are a righteous God, the one who listens to my prayer, and to you is my caller voice. Not really.
Listens to my prayer when I call to you.
Oh, when.
Yeah, it's
you're back.
in my crying out. In
Yeah,
my
yeah,
crying out to you.
yeah. In my crown.
That's
Sure.
the infinitive construct.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Right in my crown. Okay.
Brilliant. All right, number 3 says, "Shoftei tzedek yiyu lechem ba'aretz, asher atem ba'im shama, ki tzadik ani." Ani, not ani, because it's in pause at the end of the verse. Ani. That's one of the things that Weingreen talks about in this section, that in pause, the vowel will often change. So, Shoftei tzedek means righteous judges. I know that it says literally judges of righteousness, but the word righteousness and a few other words are common, like holiness and things like this, are commonly used in construct relationship to function as adjectives, because Hebrew is actually very limited on the adjectives that they have. You could say shoftim tzadikim or shoftei tzedek. Shoftei tzedek, you will have, you will have in the land, asher atem ba'im shama. Now again, that shama is directional, and we want to take, instead of shama, we're going to say where you are entering. Where you are entering, or into which you are entering. I like into which
That's a
you
good
are
one.
entering.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For I, and this is God speaking, for I am righteous. Right? So tzaddik ani is like tzaddik ata. Tzaddik ata. You are righteous. And in this case, I am righteous. All right. Any questions about that? I think that the problem, the difficulty is that presumptive shama. Asher atem ba'im shama. That's hard to render in English, but that's basically the idea. Into which you are
In there. Okay.
literally, which you entering there, to there. Yeah. The God of my righteousness, Muriel asks for number 2. So the God of my righteousness, Eloi tzidki, again, because tzedek is often used adjectively, we would translate it normally as my righteous God. My righteous God. Like the good example is Ir Kodshecha, meaning the city of your righteousness, but what it really means is your righteous, or your holy city, the city of your holiness, your holy city. Ir Kodshecha. So in this case, God of my righteousness means my righteous God. Let's change this from a righteous to my righteous.
My righteous God.
Because tzidki is my righteousness.
Yeah, I didn't notice the E. Thank you, Mariel. Good observation.
Let's look at where this is covered in Weingreen real quick. Because it is kind of important. Let's see. Degrees of comparison. Shortage of adjectives. Hebrew has a very limited number of adjectives, but the effect of limiting the application of a noun may be obtained by putting it in a construct state. When the following genitive limits the application of the noun in the same way as you would following an adjective. So, a godly man, ish Elohim, a godly man, a man of God. A holy mountain, Har Kodesh, a mountain of holiness. Golden vessels, Klei Zahav, vessels of gold. The holy mountain, Har HaKodesh, literally the mountain of the holiness. My holy mountain, Har Kodshi, mountain of my holiness. Mountain of my holiness means my holy mountain. So that's the idea that's being carried forward here. That my righteousness is being used adjectively to mean my righteous, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. Shoftem. This is number 4 Colton.
Yeah. Shoftem Elohai ki anshe damim hema vayavachashu et nafshi. So judge them.
Yes, shoftem is an
Imperative with a
imperative. Yes.
it is
The normal imperative would be shvot.
shvototam. Yeah.
Yeah, shvototam becomes shoftem. It's like because the long imperative is shofta. I don't know if you can see the difference, but I did put a kamatz katan there. Like it's a bigger kamatz than this one. Like it's you can see it bigger.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
I
For
tried to start doing that now for your guys' sake. If you notice,
they are. I don't know that I would pay attention to it if you'd not pointed it out, and I probably won't see it at some point later today. But I can see it if it's pointed out. They are men of blood. Bloods.
what are men of blood?
And they
What are
see
men of blood?
violent men.
Maybe violent men, even murderers. Maybe that
Murderers.
mean,
Murderous,
that mean
murderous
normally
men.
refers to lifeblood when it's in the plural.
And they seek my life.
Or they have sought.
Okay.
Yeah, they have.
They're seeking my life. They have sought my life. Something like that. All right. And
Okay.
we have
Number
number
5.
5.
So the long one. ויהי אחרי הדברים האלה, ויאמר פרעה אל יוסף, אתה ידעתי כי איש חכם אתה, אשר אין כמוך בכל הארץ, והנה כל ארצי בידך, היא ורק בדבר הכיסא אגדל ממך. So, and it was
Egdal mi Mecca. That's a little different part. It's mi Mecca.
From you, okay.
Mhm.
It was after these words or following these words. These words. Pharaoh said to Joseph, you now I knew that you are wise man. Ki'ish Chacham Ata, which
Notice the ata is actually in pause. It's with the etnachta. Ki ish chacham ata.
Ata, okay.
Ata.
Asher
Yeah, like
in
only.
for there is none like you in all the land. Hence all my land in your hand.
And the he is the is.
Yes.
It's really common to leave the is at the end, like in Latin, you know.
Is all
Italia in Europa
all is all land is in your hand.
All my land is in your hands. Yeah.
Okay. Is in your
So he is the copula. It's the word is.
Varak bedabar hakes hakes agdel memcha. Um,
Igdal mimeka. Igdal
Mimeka.
mimeka.
So greater than you, my throne, my Bidabar. Okay, I'm not really sure.
Bidvar kisei, in the matter of the throne.
On the matter. Okay, only.
And only in the matter of the throne shall
Only
I be
greater, right? Only in the matter of the throne, I am greater than you, right?
All right. And the Agdal, you could take I will be greater. What's
I will
fine?
be.
I am greater, I will be greater.
Okay.
But notice it's probably not words after these words because it's probably not about something he was saying, but it's after
After this matter. Okay, I should that's after this matter.
after these things or these matters.
Matter. Okay.
Yeah. And in Greek it would be metatauta. Metatauta. After these things.
Okay.
Alrighty, number 6. Yaakov shalach malachim. Now this will not be angels because Jacob does not have control of angels, right? But maybe some mystic, some Kabbalist would say that Jacob was sending angels. Maybe they would interpret it that way. Yaakov shalach malachim lefanav el Esav achiv lemor. Im Lavan achi imenu. ישבתי עד עתה. ויהי לי צאן ובקר וכסף וזהב ועבדים. I'm missing a yod. That could be a defective one, but surely not. והנני הולך ארצה כנען. All right, so let's see. Jacob. English. Jacob sent messengers before him. That's before himself, right? Before Jacob. To Esau, Esav, his brother, saying, this is what he was saying. With Laban, our mother's brother. Let's make that a positive, right? Apposition with quote with commas. Our mother's brother, which means our uncle, right? With Laban, our uncle, on our mother's side, I have dwelt until now. Ad ata. And there was to me, I have acquired. I'm going to say I have acquired because it literally says I had flock and cattle and blah, blah, blah. But the idea is it became to me, which means I have acquired. I'm going to do it that way. I hope that is clear enough. I've acquired sheep, flock, and cattle, bakar, cow, and silver, and gold, and slaves, and. And behold, I, hineni, hine ani, behold, I am going, olech, I'm going to the land, Eretz Arza Canaan, to the land of Canaan. Canaan. And the Canaan is in pause, so the patach lengthens to kamat. Then we close our quotation marks because we are good students. Yes. Any questions? Clear. Claro como el lodo o como el agua. Yeah. My Spanish teacher used to say claro como el lodo o como el agua. Like mud or like water. Is it clear like mud or clear like water? I think that odo means mud. I don't even know. I have not spoken Spanish in so long. Let's see.
Kamayim.
Yeah, lodo. Good. That's just something I remember her saying all the time. como el lodo. Como el lodo o como el agua. All right, number 7.
מבקשי אדוני אכלו להם ועוזבי דרכיו
So don't say lachem because lachem sounds like to you, but lachem. Lachem because it's lechem. Achlu lechem, achlu lachem.
Oh, it sure is. I read it as the other one. It is exactly what I did, so that would explain why I did that. Ozve derachav leolam yiravu. Sorry.
That looks like it's a mistake too. Like the drachav should be soft because it's after ozve. So let's make it soft.
Ozve
Ozve derachav.
Okay. Leolam yiravu.
And yiravu is a pausal form from yiravu.
Oh, yeah, that is a salute. That's not a. It's not a. What's the other one? Methig. That's the yeah. It's a salute. Right. Yeah. Sorry. Those who are seeking. I'll figure it out in a second. Who are seeking. Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. 8. Okay, so it's probably sought. Those who sought. I'm just 8. Bread. And they left.
No.
Abandoned? Left?
Like Mevakshe Adonai is one group of people, and those Vedrachav are another group of people.
And sorry, sure, gotcha. And those who abandon. Oh, I get it. It's like a sure. And those who abandon his ways. They are hungry forever. They hunger forever.
So I would read both of these as gnomic or gnomic statements.
Yeah.
Which means that they're not really past tense. Those who seek the Lord eat bread. They have bread to eat. And those who abandon his ways, these are generic statements about what happened. Those who abandon his ways, hunger forever.
Yeah, no, it makes sense that they would be that they'd be perfects in that case because it's the same. I mean, like it's a settled thing. Yeah. That makes sense.
These are gnomic statements, and we will find, especially as we get into the Psalms, that gnomic statements can appear with the past or with the future, and it doesn't really make a difference. It just can be used for gnomic statements. So you can say the Lord reigned forever, or the Lord will reign forever, the Lord reigns forever, and because it's gnomic, it can be any of the forms.
Yeah, I got you.
We're going to see that a lot, actually. All right. Why don't you take the next one, too, because that way you don't get stuck with number 10 after having done number 1.
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me, but okay. Divrei Chochma Tovim Mikasef Leyirat Elohim Mizahav.
That sounds like something you would read in the Proverbs.
Wise words are better than silver. You see, that's one of the ones.
Literally right, words of wisdom.
Okay.
Wise words. No, wise words is great.
Oh, okay, sorry. Wise words.
But I'm saying literally words of wisdom.
Yeah, better. Yeah, that's one of those ones that you just kind of have to, like, I just read the phrase and it's like, I know, how do I move this all around to make it make sense?
We often talk about divrei chachamim, words of the sages, and the sages refer to the rabbis.
And the fear of God than gold.
Not rabbis generally, but specifically Chazal. That is the rabbis that basically had dealings with the writing of the Mishnah, like their words are quoted. All right. Wise words are better than silver, and the fear of God is better than gold. Because fear is one.
Sorry. Yeah.
Fear is one. Feels like quoting the Quran. God is one. Allah is one. Adonai Echad. All right. Great. Number 9.
Nine.
Go for it. Del.
ויאמר דוד אל שמואל, הטוב אנוכי, שמואל, הטוב אנוכי מאחי כי
Yeah. May
בחר,
I.
מאחי כי בחרת בי, עובד אני אבי הוא הקטון בישראל. And David said to Samuel, Am
Yeah. You want the
I
question.
better than my brothers that you chose me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what?
Or you have chosen me. Mm-hmm.
Me, me. But my father's house is
Mm-hmm.
the little of Israel.
The smallest.
Not the little, the
It's,
smallest. Yeah, the small. Yeah,
mhm.
okay, the smallest of Israel. I have to answer a phone call, so I'm gonna mute myself for a second if you don't mind.
All right.
Is there anything I need
No.
to say here? Anything correct here?
Just the smallest in Israel.
In Israel, yeah.
But go ahead. Answer the point.
All right, thank you.
All right. Number 10 says, יהושע נפל פניו ארצה, ויתפלל אל אדוני לאמור, למה עזבתנו אדוני, כי נפלו בניך לפני אויביהם, ואתה אמרת אלי, הנני בתוככם, ואנוכי אלחם לכם. ויאמר אליו אדוני, למה אתה נופל על פניך? חטא ישראל כי לקחו מן הזהב ומן הכסף, ויסתירו להם. ועתה יימצאו האנשים, אתה is like not you but now, ועתה יימצאו האנשים אשר עברו אל מצוותי, ושפטת אותם לעיני כל עדת ישראל. Joshua fell on his face to the ground, and he prayed, vayitpalel, unto the Lord, saying, and this is what he said, why have you left us, O Lord? For your children, Banecha, have fallen before their enemies. Okay, I'm going to put question mark and exclamation, because the question mark is saying why have you left us, and the exclamation is like, look, they've fallen before their enemies. And so the failure of the Israelites to overcome their enemies is a sign that God has left them. He's forsaken them. Well, I'm going to continue this actually. The ve'ata amarta, I'm going to translate this as even though you yourself said to me, and then it's quoting again, behold, I am in your midst. And I, that is I myself, it's emphatic, will fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing is, why have you left us, O Lord? For your children have fallen before their enemies, even though you yourself said to me, behold, I am in your midst, and I myself will fight for you. The ve, that little conjunction, can be translated in many ways, and in this case, it's contradicting the idea. God said, I will be with you and I will fight for you. I will be in your midst and I'll fight for you. And even though he said that, the people have fallen. All right, so I'm going to use even though. And then that's the end of the verse. So Pasuk, and he says, And the Lord said to him, that is to Joshua, okay, right?
Yeah.
This is what he said. Because they have taken from the gold and from the silver. These are things that were devoted, right? And they have hidden these things for themselves. Yes, still otam. They've hidden them, the gold and silver, for themselves. The object here is assumed. And now,
You skipped a line.
Data. Where?
You skipped the
Oh, I did, didn't
Lama.
I? Yes. Okay, Lama. The Lord said to him, sorry,
No problem.
why are you falling upon your face? Okay, I'm gonna put the question right there. Israel has sinned for. Israel have sinned or has sinned, for they have taken from the gold and from the silver and they have hidden these things for themselves. And now this is adjussive. Let the men who have transgressed or trespassed my commandment be found. The yimatsu is the let them be found, and then the subject is all of that, the men who transgressed my command. And you shall judge them in the eyes of all the community of Israel. And that's a big long verse. But you shall judge them, you will declare them guilty, judge them in the eyes or in the sight of all the community of Israel. All right? How does that? Sounds like a
So,
professional translation to me.
oh, Elohim ירד על הר קודשו וידבר אל עמו כדבר אב אל בניו. Okay, so God went down upon his 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 sorry his holy mountain, and he spoke with him.
Who's him?
Moses,
Moses, yeah.
according to the sorry. As he spoke,
As who speaks?
as a father speaks to his son. Ah,
As a father speaks to his sons, his
son.
children. Yeah. God went down upon his holy mountain, that is Mount Sinai, and he spoke with him, that is with Moses, as a father speaks with his children. Yeah. Yep. All right. And so this is kedaber is like the infinitive construct in the PL, like speaking of a father, or like speaking a father to his sons. Mm-hmm.
Like the speaking of a father to his sons. I know it's not like technically in like construct, but you know.
Yeah. All right, Adele, are you in a position to do number 12? I see you're walking around inside your lovely house, but you're muted. I wonder if I can unmute you. I probably can't.
Why don't you go? So I'll do 13. Just go the old 13.
All right. So number 12. אלוהים יושב על כיסא קודשו, ומלאכי אש עומדים לפניו ביראה. So God sits upon his holy throne, literally upon the throne of his holiness, upon his holy throne, and fiery, that's fiery messengers or fiery angels. These are the seraphim, the seraphim.
The fiery ones.
Fiery angels stand before him in awe or in fear. God sits upon his holy throne, and fiery angels stand before him in awe. That sounds really nice. We see this in Isaiah chapter 6, right?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord.
Yeah. So do you want to take 13, Adel?
Yeah, sure. באו יעקב וביתו אל המקום אשר נלחם איתו מלאך אלוהים, אדוני. שם
So the Sham goes with the Asher clause. Asher, okay. El makom asher nilcham ito malach Elohim sham.
שם,
The Asher,
okay. Yeah,
sham,
sure.
there.
וישכבו שם בלילה ההוא. Jacob went and his house
So it's a compound
house?
subject. Jacob
Yeah.
and his household
and his house.
came.
Yeah. To the place.
Mm-hmm.
Place.
And now we're going to take that Asher and Sham and cram them together and say where. Which there is crammed together as saying where.
Where you're
He came to the place where.
What do you do now? Okay. Jacob and his household came. Yeah, where the angel of the Lord
Or of God. Mm-hmm.
The angel of God fought him or
fought with him.
Fought, yeah.
Of course, it's not really fighting because in the Bible it doesn't say nilcham.
Struggle with him.
It's wrestling. Yeah.
Maybe wrestling. Yeah.
I believe it's ne'evak, if I'm not mistaken. But here it is fighting. Here, the word nilcham is fighting, but we don't have the word we don't have that word here. Ne'evak.
I don't even have it spelled wrestle. R-I-S-T-L-E, I think.
Like I have to type it to spell it.
Okay, I got it with him. And he slept and he lay down.
Not he, but they.
And they
lay down there. Yeah.
Lay down that night. Lay down.
Mm-hmm.
By night.
Past tense of lie is lay.
Lay.
They lay down there. They lay down there.
By night there. Okay, there. Okay, by night. Okay.
And so we don't need by. Just that night.
That night.
Because we use an accusative of time in English.
Okay.
Oh, right. Good. 14. Elohim Shalach.
Elohim Shalach Hoshech Gadol Be'eretz Mitzrayim Asher Lefanav Lo Hayu Kamohu
Lo haya kamohu. Lo haya.
Lo Haya Kamohu. Okay. ובמקום אשר ישבו בו בני ישראל היה אור. Okay. And God sent darkness, great darkness, Over. It's not all, but like it. Okay, we'll just do in. And I'll figure out what I want. In the land of Egypt, not Egypt, Egypt. Um. Which before, okay, okay, which there was none like it before. Um,
So we could say like which
thank
there
you.
was never before, and like which there was not before.
Was before.
Hmm.
And in and in but in place where the
Or we
Israelite
could say in which, but in the place in which the Israelites were living or dwelling.
were dwelling was light.
We could say there was light. Just like we say there was darkness, there was light. But in the place in which the Israelites were dwelling, there was light. Yeah, that's true. All right. So 15. Tov moti mechayai ki azavtani biyom tzara. So this is a comparative. We know it's good than, which means better than, right? My death, oops, in English. My death is better than my life. In other words, my dying, let's make these into gerunds. My dying is better than my living. It's better for me to live. It's better for me to die than to live. That's idiomatic. It is better for me to die than to live. For you have forsaken me, you have left me in the day of my distress or trouble.
That's out of a psalm somewhere.
Yeah. It's better for me to die than to live. My living or my dying is better than my living. My death is better than my life. Chayai comes from chayim, life, chayim, and chayai is my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And then we've got the last one, Adele, number 16. I wonder why I can't hear you.
I'm muted. So Elohim bara etzmeri asher zar'o bo. God created fruit trees, tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fruit tree,
So
yeah.
a fruit tree, right?
Which planted there, which
So
is there.
in which
In,
is its seed. Zera, seed, zar'o, its seed.
in which
God created a tree of fruit, meaning a fruit tree, which its seed in it, in which its seed was.
it which it see okay it which it sees, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it
Its seed.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, it created trees with seeds, basically.
Yeah, and that's how it's kind of how it says it in Genesis. All right, that is all of the Hebrew
Finished
English.
early. My God,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
6 minutes early. It means that we can go ahead and cut out of this, and I'll go make a cup of coffee, and we will start for our Patreon users. Remember, let's brand real quick that Patreon stuff in case anybody wants to join us. Patreon.com/The Hebrew Cafe. Sign up for a paid membership, and you get access to the Weingreen English to Hebrew. in which we are going to translate into biblical Hebrew, something that most people don't do or can't do, but you guys can. So let's go ahead and I'll end the stream. We're going to move into the next 5 minutes. Yeah,
All right.
we'll try. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.